Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's me, Mysterious Cameraman, and today we're talking about Gotham Season 1 and if it is Season 2. Oh my god. Gotham Season 2 and if it is still good. So, I did Season 1 a few weeks ago, and I did it differently than I did Flash, Legends, and Arrow. Instead of going through all the episodes and talking about it, instead I did it a little more justice because it's one of the best shows. I'm kind of just going to talk about the season as a whole. I'm not going to focus on individual things. That may make it a little shorter, a little longer, I don't really know, but yeah. Before we get into it, if you haven't signed up for Fan Film Fest, please do that now. If you are interested, of course, it is a huge event going on between May 25th and May 27th, and sign-ups close May 12th. More information is in the video, fully discussing it on my channel now, and you can sign up through the form in the description. Another form in the description is Fan Film Finder. If you have any fan films you want me to review, you can fill out the form, and I'll get around to it eventually. Besides that, let's jump into the video. Alrighty. So, I knew going into Gotham Season 2, this was one of my favorites. And I'll say, it's true, this season is very good. I will say, this season opens with probably the best 4 opening episodes, really, in Gotham history. Episode 1, I'll say, is pretty decent. But episodes 2 and 3 specifically, episode 4 is also very good. I think, really, the first half of the season is pretty much some of the best, is probably like one of the best streaks of Gotham episodes of all time. Right up to Galvan's death, I believe, in episode 11. And this is so good. I think Galvan is such an incredible villain, and he's such a great villain in this plot, in this season. And I feel like that's what makes the season so good. I think this following half of the season, which is when Hugo Strange comes into the picture, I think it's good. I think it is not as good, though, as the first half of the season. I think the season is best, and I think it's probably the best arc in Gotham history. Of course, I haven't got to season 3, 4, or 5, so I'm not fully sure yet. But I love this first half. I think episodes 2 and 3 are pretty iconic. The raid, the GCPD, what else happens that episode? We also get the, episode 3, what else happens? Oh, episode 3 is the magic show. Yes, I feel like this is when the show really found its footing. Season 1 was very much the mobster thing, but honestly, Gotham could have just been New York at this point. But I think that was very much the mobster, dark, gritty Gotham. And I think this season is when they kind of went more into the Batman side of Gotham, but also stayed true to what the show was doing. And I feel like this is when the show really excelled at what it was trying to do. I pretty much fully loved this season, especially that first half. I think Galvan is such a fun villain because he has charisma. And I love seeing a lot of these villains come back because it was just nice to see these villains back. And Galvan was always fun to see on screen, and especially him with Gordon. I love them bouncing off each other. I also love Silver more than I expected to, and more than I remember. I thought she and Bruce were very fun together, and especially with Selena Kyle as well. I thought their whole dynamic was very fun in that first half. And I love how Galvan is portrayed. I like how he's a villain that kind of can't be stopped. And I actually like that he has more of a feud with Penguin than he does with Jim. And I really like that. And I believe, moving past, I love how Jim kills Galvan. I believe episode 12 is another one of the great episodes. I don't remember when it is. It's either 12 or 13, somewhere up there. But whatever episode is the episode where Jim is held up in Galvan's apartment with Captain Barnes. It's a pretty incredible episode. That's probably one of my favorite episodes in the whole season. It's either 12, 13, or 14. It's somewhere in that range, I think. I don't fully remember. What I do know is it's a pretty good episode with the Pink Flamingo and how they keep sending people after Jim. It was so different than any Gotham episode, I think, up to that point. And it was so refreshing and fun because it felt like a whole episode. Except they didn't leave the location. Right when he entered that elevator and they had that fight, I thought that was such a fun scene. And the fact that they really didn't leave the Galvan's apartment for the whole episode. It was such a fun episode. I loved it so much. And I very much enjoyed that episode. I would distinctly remember that. That was always one of my favorites, and I loved it here. I also love the Riddler episode when, I believe that's 15, when Nigma goes on his old Riddler thing. I love Jim's thing with the Riddler throughout this whole season, especially in this episode, but I also like him in Nigma's house, which I'll get to in a minute. But I love this one because I think Nigma is such a good Riddler, and especially in this episode. I love the way that they're using the bombs and the paintings and stuff, and how they reuse the crowbar. I love Captain Barnes and Jim's dynamics throughout this whole season. I love how he's like what Jim was going into season 1, but more harsh, and how Jim has kind of I know how we see how Jim's stuck to the law more than Harvey and other people, but in this season we see how Jim has been destroyed by what Gotham's done to him. And I thought that was a very interesting, a very fun thing. I thought that was all very impressive. What else happened? I liked the prison episode. I didn't love the prison episode. I liked it, though. I do love Into the Woods. Into the Woods is probably one of my favorite episodes this season. I knew coming into it that it was going to be one of my favorite episodes. I was, like, waiting, when's Into the Woods, when's Into the Woods. Once we got to it, though, I pretty much loved it. I love the way that they bring... I love Riddler and Jim in this episode. It's such a good episode overall. This is by far one of the best episodes in the whole show. Up to this point, at least. I haven't seen the rest of the show yet. Oh, I have multiple times, but not in a few years, so... But yeah, this season was so good. I loved Into the Woods, and even past that point. That was when we really got the this is probably the weakest part of the season, honestly. I feel like I think this season pretty much begins so well, and like I don't feel like there's really any points where it goes a little better. Like, except for maybe that one episode held up in Galvan's apartment, and it's pretty much like a downward the whole season, but not really to a low point, just like from how good it starts. Because the season has a few really decent episodes at the end with Azrael and Hugo Strange. Personally, for me, I don't love that arc as much as Galvan. Simply because Galvan is such a good opening part, and they have so many fun episodes about Galvan. And I feel like Hugo Strange is good, but it's such a weird thing to do after Galvan. Like, it's two very different things in a season, which is good, I guess. But I feel like I just don't feel like Hugo Strange is as strong in this, because I don't feel like these monsters really fit Gotham so well. And I love all the actors in this. I feel like all the actors improve. I feel like the show really, like, the first season was, like, it trying to find its footing a little. This is the season where I feel like it really sticks it. I found that a lot of the CW shows have, like, a good first season and have an even better second season. I think the only season that is different is The Flash. And I will say that's only because season 1 is just so good. But I wouldn't say season 2 is that much lower, though. But yeah, I thought this season was just so good. I love pretty much every part of it, and I'm so excited to move on to season 3. And yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.